Hey guys, before we get started, I just wanted to let you know about an upcoming event, which is brought to you by Athena Severi from China Magic. I'll be hosting a fireside chat with $1 Million Sellers with Dan Ashburn from Northbound. There won't be any silly name badges, so you're going to have to remember your own name. Basically, this is a Christmas party with a difference, to celebrate us as Amazon sellers. It's a sit-down 3-course meal with an open bar at the dinner, music and networking with like-minded people. So go grab a ticket, bring your partner, bring your friends, sellerevents.com. See you there. Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Today I bring in Julius Olivetti. Julius I've known for a number of years now. But the reason I'm bringing him today, not only is he an Amazon seller, but he's also a big seller on eBay. And I think there's quite a lot of limited information out there. So I wanted to get someone who really knows this stuff, who's been on the platform for a number of years, and interestingly does quite a chunk of his turnover revenue through eBay. But welcome to the show. Do you want to give a little bit of background on yourself, and we can start getting into things?
Good morning, Danny. Basically, I've sold on eBay since 2000, so 18 years, makes me feel old. Currently got 336,379 feedback score. So, as you can see, I've been chugging along for quite a long time.
Yes, indeed. So let's kick things off, because I've always been a big advocate of selling on Amazon, but waiting to that stage that you're ready to sell off Amazon, so you got the focus. So I always say to people, unless you've got the skill set, and even if you do and you want to sub that out to people, is hit 100K and then start thinking of selling off of Amazon if you started on Amazon, especially if you don't have a background in commerce and your first place was a marketplace. Because what people forget is a massive difference when someone's driving you all the traffic to a platform that you sell on than selling on your own platform, where the tumbleweeds are there at the very beginning. There's sophistication in terms of conversion optimization and stuff. So selling on eBay is what we're going to cover today. But tell the audience the percentage of sales from Amazon sales to eBay.
So I started off solely on eBay.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it. It was Pokemon cards back in 2000.
Yeah.
I was actually an ice cream man. And got asked by the kids to get Pokemon cards, so I did, and overnight I started selling about 10 grand a month of Pokemon cards, and that's where it all started on eBay. So I was solely eBay until 2006. Got invited to go onto Amazon. Slowly but surely, things changed, and 2009 I started with FBA, and back then FBA was just a pittance. And it went through the roof. Actually, Amazon at the time were offering FBA for free for my eBay stuff. So I used to send Amazon all of my eBay stock, and everything which was sent out was free of charge.
Wow.
Free of charge for about 8 or 9 months. So I sent out probably about, 50,000 units over those period of time. But since then, Amazon took over for 7 or 8 years, but in the last 2 or 3 years, eBay's had a real resurgence, especially in the last 2, I would say. And that's partly due to the fact that the competition has become a lot harder in my market sphere on Amazon, but also I've had great success on eBay.
Yeah. So what would you say roughly percentage? You're at 75, 25, 50, 50?
Probably about 2/3 on eBay, I'd say. 70% maybe eBay. No.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. In terms of, like, for other sellers getting on the platform, because obviously not everyone's selling on eBay at the moment, so we'll cover some of the basics as well as the more advanced algorithmic based stuff. But eBay has a series of tiers, don't they, in terms of what you can have shops and etc.
Yeah.
What's the structure there? What's the best way for going on the platform and selecting the right tier, and whether a shop's worthwhile, and how that affects you, in terms of algorithm and stuff, if you're on a cheaper one? Or
yeah, so the shop's really just a shop front. So it does help you with regards to your fees and how many you can list, and you can go onto eBay's website and they'll tell you which one is the best shop for you. For most people, A featured shop is what you need until you're listing thousands and thousands of products, which is an anchor shop. And lots of drop shippers have anchor shops, just because they've got thousands and thousands of listings. But to be honest with you, I think drop shipping on eBay is now starting to be in decline. But so the featured shop is probably what would be the best fit for most people.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said about the drop shippers. I just want to quickly interject there. Something that, because I've been experimenting with eBay only for about 3 or 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Now, first thing I want to do is get a clear up to get rid of all the drop shippers selling the Amazon stuff on eBay, because I wanted to clear a space for me. The process I went through at first, and I had a guy called Rob on the show. He's in my mastermind group here in the UK. He has these letters that he drafted up, like copyright infringement, because I can't remember the name of eBay's. It's about as useless as a chocolate ashtray, as far as I see. So what I was doing is I've contacted these people, and they were taking these down, because we're using the angle of copyright for images. It's like you can't use them images. So you can sell the product, but you can't use the images, knowing they don't have the product because they're drop shipping, or if they do, they've only got a handful of units. One of them actually did apologize and then put up these really shitty looking images that he'd done.
It happens.
But I'll let that one go, right?
Yeah.
So the moral of the story here, what was happening is how quick they were appearing, right? Yeah. So I got through a stage, I maybe sent out a dozen, if not more, and then I noticed 2 appear in the day. And then I've done some changes because I wanted to work up, which I'll discuss later, because of their PPC engine on there. I wanted to drop the price and stuff like that. So what I've done is I dropped the prices down, but I matched within 3 or 4 pence on Amazon. So it's just slightly higher. Overnight, cleared them all. And I realized then, it's like, yes, they are all drop shippers, and they've obviously seen my price of using software, and they can't compete no more because I've matched the price from Amazon to eBay with a few pence. So suddenly that cleaned them out all overnight, just doing that one thing, that little bit of discovery. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you.
No, it's right. And also with the drop shippers as well, eBay about just over a year ago had a thing called a group listing page. And this was forced upon them by Google, because when you go on Google Shopping, you might see, a product and it's for sale from 3 or 4 different retailers, and then there's 20 or 30 different eBay sellers listed against it. So Google said, this is no good. We don't like this. You need to have one page. And eBay said, well, we don't want to have one page and look like Amazon. We still want to have all individual listings, but what we'll do is we'll have like a landing page from Google, and you go into that landing page and they're all there, and you can search for them on that landing page, the group listing page, and they're all there by price. So what you tend to find now is for all of the drop shipped items, only one person is getting the sales, and if there's 10, 9 of them are not getting the sales. So drop shipping is less attractive for them now.
Cool. Sounds good. And in terms of getting going with software, is there any particular review software that you use?
Now, with eBay, the reviews software is non-existent.
Right.
So I send out follow-up emails. I ask people for reviews, and they, provide me with reviews. It's a lot of it is based on the after sales service you provide. And I think a lot of eBay sellers are perhaps not as savvy as Amazon sellers. So the fact that I straddle both spheres has helped me, and I tend to get more product reviews than other sellers.
Yeah, I mean, there is a piece of software that I've just played around literally yesterday. So I was asking this question. It's called Venster, but it's more asking for feedback than reviews. And I'm wondering, maybe you can retweak the text, the text in there, and ask for reviews rather than feedback. So that's good. I mean, they've got different tiers. I think if you're just starting out and you've got less than 500 sales a month, it's like a tenner a month or something. But one thing I'm struggling for software-wise is finding a decent tool for keyword research. Have you found any?
No, there's Terapeak,
Yeah.
which is a paid one. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth what you pay for it.
Yes.
eBay Title Builder, if you go and search for that, eBay Title Builder is a free one. But eBay, what you will find is that the title, you're constrained because I think it's 90 characters.
Yeah.
Normally on eBay, the first 4 words are the ones which carry the most weight.
Yeah.
So as long as you can put in the most important keywords and front load them, but also try and construct the title in a sort of grammatically correct way, then you're off to a good start.
Cool. And what about order management? Do you just use? Is there you using a third-party multi-channel fulfillment software for that, or?
Yeah, I mean, when I went down the route of multi-channel software, so because I sell on Amazon with FBA, but I also have merchant fulfilled just in case I have stock shortfalls on the FBA side. I looked around. This was about 2012, so there's several big players on the market. Channel Advisor, Linworks, I think it was one Bright Pearl at the time. But the one I plumped for was Channel Grabber. Yeah. And I've been using it ever since. I know the guys really well. They're based in Manchester. I get on the phone to them and they get things sorted for me really quickly. I'm happy with them and it works for me.
Yes, makes sense. And what about cross-platform? Do you use anything like a Joe Lister at all?
No, simply because I've got the software which aggregates all of my inventory. I mean, I have done drop shipping in the past myself, so I have used software to drop ship onto eBay from Amazon. I tested it for about 3 months, but to be honest with you, it's a lot. There's a lot of work with Amazon losing products.
So you didn't get your 4-hour work week when you were testing that, no?
No, strange that.
Yeah. Had to do a day's work. Right, okay. So selling on international eBay marketplaces, do you use any software or are you doing like a pan-EU style thing like you do on Amazon?
No, so it's a bit different on eBay. eBay is not as integrated for selling on different marketplaces. So eBay have tie-ups with Web Interpret.
Yes.
They're not very good. They do translations. In fact, Web Interpret translated, I think, about 70% of my eBay UK listings into French, German, Italian, and Spanish. But the market penetration is not so good. That might be because a lot of the things which I sell on my own brand. Yeah. And the way the eBay reviews work is that if you have reviews in the UK, they don't really carry over into France or Germany. Only if somebody ordering from the French site leaves you a review, will you get a review showing on the French site, for example. Yeah. So it's one of those situations whereby you have to look at it in a slightly different way to Amazon in that respect. However, I am starting to sell 1 or 2 things on eBay which are branded products, and they seem to sell quite well in Germany. But that's one marketplace I really like to sell quite a lot in because it's a big marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes total sense. And in terms of templates, softwares, etc., for creating listings, is there anything out there that's, that you can use like a Helium 10, like a Scribbles, so it helps you where you're weaving in your keywords and stuff?
Not really. I mean, for me, I tend to use my Amazon templates. I do a little bit of tweaking in there. There's some script which I put on myself, which allows it to be seen better from Google, and you get the Google snippets on there. Yeah. So that's me. But a lot of it is about having 5 or 6 short bullet points and then a description below. You've got to think about how it shows on desktop and how it shows on mobile. And I think about 70% of eBay purchases are now mobile. Right. So you've got to think about how it shows up, because you have to physically click in on a mobile advert to see the actual description, and you've got to make sure that your description is mobile friendly. I mean, personally, I use a company called Fruition.
Yeah.
And they're very good. They're probably about the most well-known eBay templates company.
Gotcha. So let's move on to eBay's very own A9. So they've got an algorithm called Cassini. Is that pronounced right? So let's just talk over some of the key components of the algorithm. From my understanding, and you'll know a lot more about it. So it does pay to be a top-rated seller as part of it. Free shipping, which is an obvious one.
Yeah.
Extensive sales history.
Yeah, I mean that helps as well. I mean, there's so many elements to it. So
of course, yeah.
The way I see it is there's account-wide elements, as in top-rated seller. There's new service metrics which are coming in early next year, which are there's things like late delivery rates, as well, issues like that. But then there's looking at each individual product, and each individual product will have the elements of the account-wide scores, but also the individual product score, and that's mainly affected by your click-through and sell-through rates, and they are calculated normally on a daily basis. So say, for example, you have a very good Monday, your click-through and sell-through rates will then go through and be seen. I think it's about a 24-hour lag. So probably on the Wednesday they would be seen. So you then go up on the Wednesday. So it can take a little while to rank, but once you are ranking and you keep that velocity up, then you stay up there.
Well, this is the thing. Like the three main ones we covered there was, what was it? It was free shipping, which is anyone can do. But then you're dealing with, if you have to rely on extensive sales history and you're a top-rated seller, what happens to new guys starting out? Do you get like the honeymoon period? You know, like we get on Amazon. So once a listing goes out there, it gets a fair shake. So you may have a honeymoon period for like 3 months to gain some ground. And that's why it's important. You know, some people find it difficult to re-rank an old listing and waking it from the dead, you know?
That's true. I mean, on eBay, I don't think you get a honeymoon period. And if you're out of stock for 2 or 3 weeks, you will still keep your sort of ranking place. So if you get the stock again, you hit the ground running. But if you're out of stock for 3 or 4 months, then it's going to be more difficult to rank, because they obviously look at your sales history over a rolling period. My guess is maybe a month, and then you will be downgraded 3 months and you just fall off the charts. But I don't believe there's a honeymoon period per se regards to new products. I mean, the way I do it is I list products with a small false stock level, put things on for a loss, get great follow-up emails, and get the reviews and the sales velocity. Yeah,
no, it makes, well, that's the bit I was going to come on to. You kind of took a lot of that stuff off the table. So let's pick that apart. So we'll start with on page. So title optimization, you mentioned, very much like Amazon, front loaded at the beginning of the title, but it's really trying to get understanding what search volume is. Like you mentioned, what was that software? The eBay software,
Terapeak.
Yeah. So there's kind of got a tool in there that tells you the most important, but I didn't see any search volume stuff going on in there, and I don't know how reliable the data is, because at least with Amazon, you've got tons of them out there in the marketplace, haven't you? And you can pick and choose and test them against each other. But it's an unknown quantity for me.
No, Terapeak's probably like the industry standard one, but to be honest with you, you can do it without Terapeak. You can look at the top of best match. You can see what the top 5 are selling, and have a look at their sales history. Just click into the advert and then click into sales. You'll see the last 100 sales. And if somebody's selling, last 100, and you can see them going back over a week, you know they're selling 400 a month. It's pretty easy.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. So when you say best match, walk us through the process. So if you were to do keyword research on page on eBay, how would you approach it?
So let's just say you're looking at selling a product. I mean, let's just say something which is relevant and new, like these RFID cases for car keys. So you just do a search on there. You can type it into eBay search, and you'll see pre-filled data there. So it's already helping you out, which is the best way to search for that particular product. And you're already halfway there. Then you can put that into something like eBay Title Builder, and that will tell you the best keywords or most commonly used keywords for that search.
Yeah. And what about in terms of on-page bullets, description? Walk me through a good structure, the anatomy of a landing page on eBay.
Yeah, so for mine, I try and keep it short and sweet. I have a quick paragraph to describe the product, and then I'll have probably 5 bullet points, just the same as on Amazon. And then I will have a little bit further description further down, and just contents, things like that, size of the product, because you do tend to find on eBay people will make more buyer mistakes. eBay have these things called item specifics. Mm-hmm. And if you can fill the item specifics up as much as possible, they do help with regards to so obviously you're selling in a product category, but then there's subcategories within it. I mean, I have a situation. I was selling a case, a gaming case. Yeah. And when I sold the gaming case, when I listed it, it was in the particular category of Nintendo, and they had the subsection within the item specifics was, I think it was cases, but then they've changed it to travel cases, and I didn't know this, but my sales had dropped, and all of a sudden it's because the subsection was different, and they didn't tell you that the subsection was different. So you've got to keep checking these things, but as long as you put in all of the data as much as you can, and then eBay, I don't know if you have a look on desktop, you might be looking for a gaming case, and you go into, I don't know, you're looking on the Nintendo Switch, for example, and then below it on eBay, you'll see the search, and then you'll see cases, and then you'll see accessories and chargers and stuff like that, and games. So as long as you're in the correct subsection, then people tend to click in there and filter it that way.
Gotcha. What about when you're setting up your listing, you've got things like subtitle where you can pay like £4.80 or whatever it is to...
Yeah, not worth it. Doesn't index. No subtitles.
Okay, complete waste of time. That's good to know.
Used to have them all the time. I used to put on there, fast shipping, UK seller, etc. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't help. It's not relevant in search. It only is relevant for reinforcing your service credentials. But I mean, if you're a top-rated seller, you get a top-rated seller badge, premium seller service. Mm-hmm. You don't need to pay for that. Cool.
Makes sense. And in terms of categories, is it very similar to Amazon, like with its node structure? You've got the second, on eBay, you've got a second category, haven't you? Whereas Amazon, over the time, they've peeled that away. Some people do have 2 categories.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the best approach for that? Is just searching for the product, looking page 1 main keywords, and then going through and looking at what categories that they are?
Yeah, I mean, I've got some which are in 2 categories. Memory card readers, they're in 2 different categories. But it is quite rare to have a product which can straddle both. But if it sells well in both, then you've got 2 bites of the cherry.
Yeah, makes sense. In terms of photos, now you can have up to 12 on here.
Yep.
Is it advisable to fill 12 slots, or just go with your best images? What's the thing?
No, you can fill 12 slots, and I think eBay like more images.
That's what I'm thinking. Are they more to? Yeah,
they like more images. I mean, eBay had a problem with, as they classic, graffiti. on their images. Lots of Chinese sellers selling, Union Jack flags on there and so on, when it wasn't. And they put in this diktat to say if you had graffiti on there, we would remove you. And there's a big debate at the moment, in fact, that eBay 3 years down the line are now no longer enforcing this. But same applies to Amazon. On a white background is better. If you can have infographics, pictures sell.
Yeah.
And they do make a difference on eBay.
Yeah.
Good pictures. People can tell, the cheap images. You can have a really cheap, I've got products where I'm selling it twice the price as my competitors. And because I've got better images, I'm selling 5 times as many as them. At double the price of the same products.
Everyone will class eBay as like the cheap store, Would you say that you can still sell premium luxury products or just high-end products at a higher price on eBay and not have issues, or is it just bargain hunters?
No. I personally myself, I've just sold some branded products. 90% of it is my own items, my own brand. But I do, there's a hustler in me.
Yeah.
I do like, finding little marketplaces, little income streams, and I am selling 1 or 2 things, which are branded products at higher price than the high street. And I'm selling those on eBay, and they're selling very well.
Makes sense. And in terms of like your selling details, duration, format, do you go fixed price, good till cancel, or is there any little hacks there?
No, fixed price, good till cancel for me. Get that sales history going. The more sales history you got, the better it is. Some of my products, they are top of best match. They've been top of best match for 2 years. You've got a sales history of 10,000 units. It's like a juggernaut, and I've got a monopoly on those marketplaces. People would find it very, very difficult to dislodge me from the top.
Yeah, makes sense. And in terms of return options, are we looking seller pays for the returns and you just let the customer keep it and then you do 60 days? Half the time I don't want it depends on the price of the product, but generally if they're lower priced products.
eBay's actually got a more sophisticated returns process than on Amazon. Now I've pushed out my returns allowance to, I think, 90 days, which is the largest you put it out to. And eBay likes you for doing that.
Yes.
They see you as a good trader, an honest trader, and I think it does have some effect within the Cassini search. So eBay will have 2 types of returns. One where it's a buyer changes their mind, a remorse reason. In no circumstances people pay for the returns. eBay provides them with a returns label. They actually, I think it's £3.05 in the UK. Yeah. And people will pay for the return to return it back. I've had people return things to me and they've paid more for the return than the item they bought.
Yeah.
Then there's item not as described, and you can either provide them with a prepaid returns label yourself, or you can get eBay to provide them with the prepaid returns label, or if you think it's not worth your while, you can just refund them.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
The choice is yours.
Yes. And in terms of international selling, anything particular there should be set up? Because obviously if you're doing free shipping, you're probably not going to do free shipping to overseas, because they can either buy them off the other marketplaces if you sell through them. How does that structure?
So it gets a little bit complicated on eBay. So you can have for example, I have a UK listing.
Yeah.
I have a UK listing which I have a business policy set up for postage. So I have free post in the UK. I have set price for Europe, and then I have a set price for different places. So I could have North America at a slightly higher price, 'cause it takes a little bit longer to get to outside of the EU. And then you can have a rest of the world price. Now, it depends on the product portfolio you have. Now, mine are all sort of sub £10, so it's more cost effective for me to send it out myself. If people are selling more expensive items, they could use eBay's global shipping program, whereby you send the item to eBay's warehouse, and as long as it gets to eBay's warehouse in the UK, you're covered. They do the rest.
So basically, eBay have now have their own FBA, do they?
Only for international orders, this global shipping program,
Gotcha.
which works phenomenally well. If you're selling things, let's just say £30. Now, the global shipping program, you're selling something, let's just say you're selling something to somebody who wants to buy it and they're in Argentina.
Yeah.
It might charge them £10 to send it to Argentina. So you can have the whole world, at your fingertips. But you can also have a situation, excuse me, that's actually Amazon phoning me there. You can actually have a situation whereby you can list on multiple eBay sites. So you can have the same product on eBay in the UK, France, Germany, Italy. However, if you list on France and if you list on Germany, if you list on Italy, but you also have a UK listing which is selling to those other countries, eBay will class that as a duplicate listing.
Right. Because
if a French or German customer is looking on there and they might see two offers from yourself, one which is sent from the UK, which is in English language, one which is sent from Germany, for example, in German language, if you've had it translated, and that is a contravention of eBay policy. So if you are setting up individual listings in each country, you need to turn off for that particular listing the ability to send to that other country,
right,
from the UK listing.
Cool.
That's where it gets a little bit complicated on eBay, and I do think it's a little bit behind the curve compared to Amazon in that respect.
Makes total sense. So promoted listings.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, obviously people know about sponsored ads, pay-per-click platform. Obviously now there's product display ads, blah, blah, blah. But what I like about eBay, and not that I've done a deep dive yet, but what I like about it is that you pay on conversion. So it's a pay-per-sale platform. Do you want to break that down for us?
Yeah. So it's pay-per-sale. Now eBay did have this set up, and this was working like a dream. And I say that in the fact that eBay have different placements within Best Match, which are allocated to sponsored products. Now, they always had it that the top sponsored products placement was in position number 5, which is good in respect. Let's just say you've got a new product. You can throw the kitchen sink at pay per sale, because it's not pay per click, it's pay per sale. It would get you up to place number 5. Now, for me, if I'm at the top of Best Match, I don't need to spend, because I can only get up to place number 5. Now, I might be at place number 1, so there's no need for me to do sponsored products. eBay are actually running a test at the moment. This test started late September. I know it's going on until the end of the year. It might be going on for longer, but they've now changed their top placement for sponsored products as number 1.
Right.
And then number 4 and number 5. So what we've seen is a complete reshuffling of the pack, and you can throw the kitchen sink at it, and you might get to number 1 spot. There are certain, and I think it's different for market to market. I mean, I've got this really, really stupid situation of one of my products is top of Best Match, so it's in number 2 position, which is the first organic position. But I'm also at number 1 because of sponsored products. Now, I don't want to be like that, but I'm doing what I would class as like a rearguard action, in the fact that if I don't pay for the sponsored product, somebody else gets number 1 spot. So you're doing a defensive use of it.
What my goal is with it, and I'm having problems, is that there's very low amount of impressions coming through. So here's the thing, right? The first thing I think of, right, great. So this is a pay-per conversion platform. Brilliant. I'll throw everything here. I don't care if it's 50, 60, 70%, but does it create a halo effect? And then I'm looking, right, new eBay account, new listing, no reviews on the listing, right? A low amount of units available, let's just say 50. Is that stopping me from getting impressions? Second question, where can I look and monitor my ads? Because there's no keywords, is there? So where do you,
There's reports, but the reports are not very good.
Yeah, they're terrible. Yeah.
It's in its infancy.
Yeah.
And in some respects, I think this is good because it gives everybody a chance.
Yeah.
In some respects, there's, what we found on Amazon, there's a few experts and they are really, really good at
manipulation.
Manipulation, but also algorithms, and it's sort of raised the bar, and your Joe Blogs on the street now might not have a chance to make it work on pay-per-click. But on eBay, because it's a less sophisticated system, you can, and you can't strip out all of the data and analyze it for hours. It's a lot simpler. I mean, I've got a situation, I sell one item, it's a cable. When these changes occurred, I decided to put the cable up 25p.
Yeah.
So I've now put the pay-per-click works out at 25p per sale. So even if 100% of my sales come in via promoted listings, I'm still even.
Yeah. Oh, even. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still even. But now it's a situation that after eBay made this change, they prior to this September change, 20% of my sales came in via promoted listings. After the change, it went straight up to 60%. Now it's down to around 50% because I know that they've changed it. They didn't tell anybody they changed it, but yeah, 50% of my sales come in via promoted listings. So I've been doing it where I'm increasing the price, but the sales are coming in.
I think, it's just, I don't know what it is. Like for me, like just to get going, obviously I'm not trying to abuse the system. I'm like, well, okay, I'm happy to not make any money. So, I launch a product, I've got a new account, I've got new listing, I've got no sales history. I've got to chicken and egg, So I'm like, well, what about if I just spend up on pay-per-click and see what happens? But I'm struggling. In an example, I've got one here. It's got 104 impressions in about a week or so. It's got one click and one sale. So the sale price is $10.99.
Yes.
The ad fee is £5.50. I know that's high, but I just want to see where it lands. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm trying to work out, well, how do I get more impressions?
Yeah. I mean, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
That's it, right. It just went for a funny space. So if I was selling a product, $10.99, new product, and there's sales in this marketplace. You can look for the same products on eBay. You can see the top 5. You can have a look and you see, right, it's selling 100 units a week. The top 5 sellers are between them 100 units a week. So there's money in that market.
Yeah.
And you're making £3 on each. You think, well, okay, maybe I can get 50 sales in there, £3 on each sale. It's £150 a week on that one SKU.
Yeah.
What I would tend to do is think, if you were selling on Amazon, you might go and put sponsored products on there. You might go and rack up £200, £300 on sponsored products just to throw the kitchen sink at it to get it ranking. What I tend to do is
try 10x in that. Try $3,000 on a single keyword.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. But I mean, on eBay, what I would tend to do is put them at a cheap price. Put it at $2.99.
Yeah.
Then get a few sales, put it up to $3.99. Get a few more sales, put it up to $4.99. Yeah. You might lose £200 or £300, but then you've got the sales velocity. You've got the sales history. then once as long as you keep on getting the sales, you keep on creeping the price up, you keep on getting the sales, and you get it up to your target price. And there might be situations where there's a bit of resistance there, and you might have to pull it back down. It might take 2 to 3 months. And at the end of that, if you then in a situation where you think, right, it's now selling in its own right, I can, reduce the pay per sale on there, and I'm at top of best match. I've got some reviews, and then you think, right, well, I've gone through that sort of initial phase. It can now stand on its own 2 feet, and it just ticks along. And then do the same on the next one.
Makes sense. In terms of reviews now, is it strict like Amazon? I mean, are people doing friends and family on eBay? I'm not encouraging that, but I'm just saying, are they doing that kind of thing? Or is it looser? What is eBay's take on the whole review?
eBay, it's a verified review.
Yeah.
It is. There's a big problem on eBay in the fact that, let's just say I've got a product, I've got 200 reviews. People will copy my EAN, and then instantly they've got my 200 reviews.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they will copy my images, and they might get my reviews, or they might copy my title, they might get my reviews. eBay have something called an EPID, eBay Product Identifier, which is like, imagine it as an umbrella.
Yeah.
And underneath that umbrella, you've got the title, you've got the EAN, the MPN, obviously the manufacturer part number. EAN is the barcode number in Europe, UPC in the States, the title and the images. So if people are copying one element or maybe 2 or 3 different elements, they will get your reviews. So one thing I do as a Vero seller, registered on just like Amazon's brand registry, I file forms, and to be honest with you, it's nearly a daily basis now for people copying my structured data, people copying my EAN number, people copying my title. Well, actually, title you can't get removed. People copying images, people copying my MPN or using my brand name in there, and they will remove them. They'll remove them within a few hours.
Gotcha. That makes total sense. In terms of payments, managing reconciliation of PayPal transactions, it's all a bit messy. What's your take on it? How are you structuring?
Yeah, so I mean, I tend to get my PayPal payments in. I withdraw them mainly on a daily basis, or you can on a weekly basis, and my accountant works it on a cash accounting basis. You can get a report from PayPal, which provides you with your monthly sales and their commissions.
Yeah.
So it can look messy and daunting, but it really depends how you want to extrapolate the data.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Last question, because I know you're a busy man. Let's talk about fulfillment options. Like, for instance, I'm just using Joe Lister to bring over from Amazon. So you got the multi-channel fulfillment isn't cheap. What's some idea that people like Amazon sellers can use to get started other than from posting from their own house?
So eBay's got really good opportunities. And I say this because Amazon's really simple. You send your stock to Amazon, let them deal with it with FBA. But there's a lot of people see fulfilling your own orders as a barrier.
Yeah.
So because of that, eBay's got less competition in that respect. So if you can do merchant fulfill for eBay, then brilliant. I mean, for example, on a Monday morning, I'll dispatch about 700 orders. And I've got it down to a fine art, so we can do 300 an hour. So it's not a problem. But that's because of the particular types of products I sell are small. There are third-party fulfillment centers who will dispatch for you at a set price per item. So that's an option.
Yeah.
there's some really good blogs out there about that. I mean, there's a guy, Andrew Minalto, did a really good blog about different options for fulfillment. So, I mean, eBay is now working really, really well in the UK with Royal Mail's click and drop system, which is fantastic. You can just...
How does that work, the click and drop then? So
basically you buy your postage online, and it prints out a label. You can print it out on A4, or if you've got a label printer, you print it out on a 6x4 label, and it comes with a delivery confirmation. So most of my things go out second class, which is 48 hours, and they're not fully tracked, but they have delivery confirmation. Gotcha. So gone are the days when you have eBay buyers saying, I didn't receive the item, and you had to send them a replacement. Now they say, I've not received it, and you can say, but you have received it. Here's the proof. And eBay will always side with you if you've got proof that they've delivered it.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Well, look, it's been a long one. What is the best way that people can reach you if they want to reach out?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, Julius Olivetti. I'm also starting a eBay consultancy mentoring, which is eBay Guru UK. But to be honest with you, I've been so busy with a few other projects. I've got a new brand which I'm releasing on my own web store. I've just sort of put that to the side for now. But if people wanted to contact me with regards to getting into eBay, I'm happy to speak to people, help them out, and do a bit of mentoring. It's not a problem at all.
Cool. Great. Guys, thanks for joining us. Julius, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again in the next few days. Take care.